Hey everybody, this is Phoenix Down, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy V 4-Job Fiesta. Here we are in the village of Mua. In this translation anyway, it's like Moor or Mure in other versions of the game. But I'm here to pick up a very special item that I went to a lot of trouble preparing myself for. Namely the chicken knife, which is on Bart's left-hand side. Or it's on our right. The one over here, the chicken knife. One of the best weapons in the game, if you make all the preparations for it. Something I didn't do in my proper LP that I really wish I had in hindsight. Because I saw in H.C. Bailey's run just how broken and powerful it actually can be if you do the right preparations. The way it works is that the chicken knife, it starts off with basically 0 attack power. It's very weak, but for every 2 times you run from enemies in battle, it gains an attack, 1 point of attack power. Up to 127, you run from 255 battles over the course of the game, and it can continue on after you get the item as well. And it maxes out at 127 attack power. I'll demonstrate that by equipping that on Lena here, since she will be the one using the chicken knife. Yeah. That's a nice jump in her attack power there, and it boosts her agility as well. Another factor of the chicken knife is, unlike any other daggers in this game, the chicken knife also factors in your agility when it calculates damage. So it's a lot more powerful than the 127 attack power would normally utilize. So even though she has relatively low strength because she's a thief, she can do quite a bit of damage with it. But one of the other drawbacks to the chicken knife, however, is that when you use the regular fight command, there's about a 1 in 3, 1 in 4, I'm not entirely sure what percentage it actually is, chance of automatically fleeing from battles instead of attacking. It's a little drawback to that. But there are ways around it. Namely that if you equip certain abilities to the person using the chicken knife, say if I were doing a normal playthrough of the game and I had like a thief, even though the sword mage, the sorcerer, the mystic knight is about the best character job class to use the chicken knife with, because it has a good balance of strength and agility. It's about the best balance out of the 2 attributes. But let's say I'm having Lena as a thief, so I'll use her as the example. Let's say I was doing a normal run for 4-Job Fiesta, and I could mix my job classes around instead of my natural playthrough. And I learned the monk build-up command for Lena. I could use build-up, double my attack power, not only do more damage per attack, but I'd also have 0 chance of unintentionally fleeing from battle because I used the chicken knife. So that's a way to get around it. And in Lena's case, since I can't use build-up, she will be using the capture command instead. So I have a chance to, it's basically the mug ability. So I have a chance of stealing and attacking. So I'll be able to do damage without having to worry about running from battles unintentionally. I'll only equip that like for boss battles and whatnot. I'll still keep the escape command on for the most part. Just because, unless I'm like grinding, because I'll probably be doing some grinding pretty soon to prepare for the Collected Dimension in the very near future. I've only got a few more days left before 4-Job Fiesta closes for the year, so I'll still finish the series even if I don't beat the game in the deadline. But I'm getting so close to the wire that I want to keep that in mind. But yeah, I'll be using the capture command for boss battles or if I'm grinding. And the escape will be there for just regular dungeon progression, in case I encounter enemies that can like level 5 do me or something like that. I don't want to die in one hit if I just happen to run into the wrong encounter. But anyway, the other option, instead of the chicken knife, the Brave Blade, it kind of works the opposite as of the chicken knife, in that it starts off with 150 attack power, and it gradually decreases every time you run from a battle. I think it's like 1 point for every time you run. I'm not sure on the specifics on that one. But it has fewer job classes can use a knight sword type weapon, like knights, and Mystic Knights and maybe Blue Mages, and like a couple other job classes could use that, but it doesn't really, there's not that much point to it. You know, it gets weaker every time you run from a battle, up until the point you get it. After that, you know, all bets are off. You could run as many times as you like and it won't change it then. But there are so many enemies that you can encounter, like in World 1, that you kind of have to run from or you're going to die. Like if you're in the, you know, the dungeons or in Warris Castle or something like that. So there's like some drawbacks to that. And, you know, fewer job classes can use the Brave Blade. The Chicken Knife is the better option if you take the effort to fully charge it, like I wish I would have in my official Let's Play. But anyway, that said, I think I'm going to pass the mic over to Post-Commentary Phoenix and show off some more boss battles for World 3. And next time, we should begin our trek into the Clefted Dimension. Thanks, Phoenix. So today we are going to be tackling the bosses of the third world, starting with Murugan, or Murugane, however it's pronounced, and whatever it's called in the official translations. Now she's a member of the wall-changing club of Final Fantasy villains, along the likes of the Magi Master from Final Fantasy VI, and Golbez in the Nintendo DS version of Final Fantasy IV. So she can change her elemental weaknesses periodically whenever she likes. But she always starts the battle off weak against fire, so I have Ferris breaking as many fire rods as I can until she does change her weakness, at which point it's not really worth trying to gamble breaking a rod to see if I can guess it right, because it'll heal her or not do any damage roughly to the same amount of HP as I would have taken if I had guessed correctly, so it's not really worth the risk there. So I switch Ferris over to using Comet, and unfortunately she's been immune to physical attacks for most of the fight until toward the end. So Bart's was basically just charging up punches for no reason. I just didn't have another use for him at the time. But Murugan, that's what I usually call her. I think that name sounds better out of the options on this translation. You know, there's not a whole lot else to really say about her. She's not particularly challenging. You know, we don't have Lena in the party because she was possessing her body at this point, if you remember what happens in the story. But after her, we move on to Stalker, over in the Solitary Wind Shrine, or Temple, whatever it's called, on that island, where the second tablet is found. Yeah, he's basically, it's a big guessing game when you fight against Stalker. You basically have the enemy and 3 illusionary enemies that can attack you, but you can't really do anything to them. And I do experiment with Ferris breaking an ice rod at one point, because I equipped my 3 flame rings on Bart's, Lena, and Kara. Because when you use a multi-targeting spell on Stalker, the 3 fake copies will cast Blaze. It's like a cold elemental attack, which does nothing to anybody equipped with a flame ring, but he was doing so much damage to Ferris, and it was only, I think the ice rod only caused like not even 800 HP worth of damage, and it just wasn't really worth the effort at that point. So I just spent the time trying to guess which one I was hitting, if it would be the right one, by having Bart's build up with his monk abilities, and Lena using the capture command with the chicken knife, which is very nice. It's doing about roughly the same amount of damage as Bart's can with the build-up command, assuming he hits both targets. It's kind of about in the same ballpark. Sometimes she does more, sometimes he does more, depending on levels and whatnot. And but if Bart's gets a critical hit, he does a lot more damage in just a single punch than what the chicken knife is doing. But Stalker, not much else to really say about that. It was just a big guessing game, and you know, he knows Mind Blast, and you know, he uses like kind of a whip style attack and whatnot. Not much else to say about him. I only fought him in order to unlock the Fork Tower, where I can get the Holy Spell for Kara. I needed some offensive power for my White Mage. Relying on breaking rods, that doesn't do so much good once you get to the third world. The enemies they have so much greater magic resistance that it's just not worth it so much by that stage. I died a couple times in the Fork Tower. The first time I slipped up and set my party in the wrong towers. So I had Bartz and Lena fighting against some mage enemies and got hit by Meteo as a result, which was 9,999 points of damage, instant kill attack in that case. So I had to do that one again. And then the Minotaur at the top of the tower, of the Strength Tower, the first of the two bosses there, he killed me in my first attempt as well. That was a bit rough. And I got really lucky in beating him in this case, because it was basically just a physical punch fest. You know, Bartz would build up with Monk Command, and Lena would use the capture mug ability with the chicken knife. And I got lucky in that I had Bartz, when I was on the ropes, I was about to die, and I had Bartz just do a regular attack, and it was just enough to end the fight. So I got really lucky there. But then, Omnisenate, the boss of the magic side of the tower. I did not realize when I started this battle that breaking elemental rods against this guy causes him to use the reset spell, starting the battle over. So I'm going to be editing out a big chunk of that battle, because I did that a couple times at the start of the fight, because I didn't quite realize what was happening. By the third time I kind of just did an experiment just to make sure that was the case, and it was. Then I had about maybe a 3-minute, 4-minute fight going on with him, and I decided, hey, I got that magic lamp item because I'm going to use that later on certain bosses. Why not summon Bahamut? Well, I did that, and then he cast reset on me, so I had to do that one over again. So I'm going to skip out that entire part. So it's basically going to be maybe the first 1 or 2 times he casts reset, because that's like right at the beginning, just to get a feel for that happening. Then I'll skip ahead to the real fight, where I use, basically in this case, my only form of offensive attack is the Comet spell with Ferris. That's it. I had Kara equipped with the Wall Ring for auto reflect, so I could bounce back some of Omnisenate's spells, and I had her casting reflect periodically on Ferris as well. I used Dispel on Omnisenate with Kara as well to neutralize his regen effect, and I think it also took away, like, he must have had like a innate shell effect on him as well at the start of the fight, because Comet started doing a lot more damage after I did that. I mean, Comet is a random damage dealing spell anyway. It's not really that reliable, but it did a lot more, at least twice as much damage per cast as it did before, so it was all I had. It was all I had to work with, and fortunately I managed to get through it. And anyway, after that, the only other boss in the fourth world I fought was those 3 enemies at the end of the deep sea trench. And I basically I took the easy way out with those guys, because they were not worth. I did not want to repeat the disaster of my fight in my official LP against those guys. It was like one of the worst fights I had in the entire game, I think, of that playthrough. So I went the easy way out, used the magic lamp. Battle was over in like 20 seconds, if that. And I didn't even need the tablet. The only reason I went down there, besides to gain some levels fighting against the undead monsters on the way there, I found out that with Sage Staff equipped, Kara as a white mage could one-shot 3 out of 4 of the undead monsters down there with just the regular fight command, and that was really awesome. Really saved on MP once I realized that. Unfortunately, the float spell allows you to avoid damage floors in this game, like in Final Fantasy IV, so I didn't have to worry about taking damage walking around just because I didn't have a Geomancer in the party. But anyway, so yeah, that's about it. The only reason I went in the sea trench, besides a place to grind for some levels for the final dungeon, was so I could get the Meteo spell for Ferris there. It was a must-have. If you have a time mage, it's worth the trip down there. And that's pretty much the only reason I went down there at all. And to collect some of the items, like the flame ring and whatever else was down there. Alright, that's about it for all I have to say about, our current video today. There's only 2 more videos of this left coming. As of recording this post-commentary right now, I have finished the game. I've officially posted my link to my victory picture up over on the Forge Job Fiesta site via Twitter and all that. So it's all official. If you find Phoenix Down Reborn in the player list, you'll see I got the little star icon or whatever icon it was saying that I beat X-Def. So I'll be showing off those videos as soon as I have commentary ready for them. And once I get some of these video files of these battles cleared out of my computer, basically, I can start recording Super Mario RPG again. I'm looking forward to that. And I'm hoping you guys are too. I hope this project was worth doing. So I hope this has been enjoyable for you guys. So I don't want to feel like I wasted your time recording this when I could have been doing other things. But I mean, you could leave leave that in the comments, or just, if you know me any other way, just let me know. But anyway, this has been Phoenix Down, and I will see you guys next time.